So let us focus on this particular sutra, Sutra 29, which is in continuation of the previous two sutras where it was stated about pranava. Actually, it began with that sutra which is Ishwar Pranidhanadva, which means there are methods for creating that inner environment which leads to yoga. Yoga, as per Patanjali, is nothing but samadhi. And yoga has been defined as chitta vritti nirodha, which means from the perspective of a yogi, he or she experiences the true chetana, the true inner consciousness, true self in a samadhi which is known as sampragnat samadhi. Whereas this sampragnat samadhi is of various types, because sampragnat samadhi begins with the manifestation or revelation of the sukshma elements, which are subtle elements, although they have been termed as gross in the darshan. In this darshan, Panchatattvas are the first destinations or the first revelations. Because yoga philosophy is based on another philosophy which is sankhya, in which there are 25 tattvas. Whereas Purusha is that 25th tattva, which is kind of composition of human being, the human consciousness or human experience of self. And it believes this particular shastra, and of course every shastra which is rooted in Indian tradition, believes in or gives the highest importance to shabda pramana, the knowing through the words. And shabda pramana means the words of the scriptures, the words of masters who have been able to progress to a desired state in a particular way, in a particular philosophy, in a particular practice, that is called, in another way you can say, aptavachan, which means the words of people who have arrived, okay, who have received it, who have achieved it. And then shabda pramana is the highest, and therefore whatever this sankhya darshan is talking about, that will be taken into account. That has to be believed in order to realize the path and take it as your own practice in your life. Effectively, whatever we are discussing now is, in our language, if we say, this is the highest and the most difficult path as far as the yoga is concerned. Because yoga also believes that there are different types of people and they have different capacities. Based on that, yoga has been described. So whatever we are studying as of now in Samadhi path, which is the first section of this philosophy, this is aimed at those kind of individuals who are at a very high stage by themselves, maybe by their own previous sanskara, or maybe by their own effort in this life itself. But yoga believes it, Samadhi or yoga is not one lifetime's job. It's continuation. Life after life you progress. Because in this philosophy it is understood that avidya means that ignorance, which actually comes as a veil in your experience of true self or the Ishvara, because this philosophy is based on three eternal things or three eternal entities. One is Ishvara, second is Jiva, which is Purusha, and third is Prakriti. Prakriti contains Maya also. So Maya or Prakriti is almost, it can be equated here. So Ishvara is also a Purusha. Purusha means consciousness. Like an individual soul lives in this Pura. That is why it is called Purusha. Pur means Nagar. Pur means city. Pur means a place where you dwell. So because this is Pura and the consciousness resides in it, therefore it is called Purusha. The one who lives in this Pura. Pura is this equipment which we have, not this physical body alone. The physical body has not been taken as, in this philosophy, not directly as it is. It is combination of 5 tattvas, combination of 5 tanmatras, combination of 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, mana, buddhi, ahankara, and then prakriti, or prakriti is also material here, which is made up of 3 gunas. Gunas means material here, tata, rajatam, and then comes the purusha. So basically, if you dissect or see the microscopic view of this being which we call body, it also consists of mind. In the philosophy of yoga, mind is also matter. Because there are 2 things. One is consciousness, which is non-material. Everything other than that, what is prakriti, is a material. And then Ishvara, which is also non-material. So Ishvara has been defined as a Purusha Vishesha. It's a special type of Purusha or consciousness. We live in this limited body. The Purusha is that who lives in this cosmic body. We become affected by avidya, klesha, karma, vipaka, ashaya, etc. The Purusha Vishesh, which is known as Ishvara, is unaffected by that. Okay? Purusha Vishesh is actually Ishvara. Ishvara, Jiva or Purusha, and then Prakriti. These are the 3 things. So what is the path here? The path is about bringing about control on Prakriti. Because Prakriti is consisting of 3 gunas which create everything, including your intellect, your ego, your mind, your karmendriyas, your jnanendriyas, and also tanmatras, and then finally what you call this body, physicality. These are gross elements. Again, when we say gross element, it does not mean the Prithvi or the earth element is that element which we see outside of earth. That is not the earth. Sankhya philosophy deals with this subject in detail, and it says that the Prithvi which we see outside, the solidity which we experience in this world, is combination of again all the 5 tattvas. And the so-called this hardness or this solidity which is exhibited in the form of earth or anything solid out there, it is combination of 5 tattvas. By the process of panchikarana, this solidity is created. Panchikarana means all the 5 tattvas participate in creation of this Prithvi, this Vayu, this Jala, this Akasha, and this Agni. All 5 tattvas participate. Means this Prithvi which we see in the outer world is combination of Prithvi, Jala, Agni, Vayu, and Akash. All. So how it is achieved? It is said that every tattva gets divided into 5 parts. 5 parts means 1/2 separate, the other half, that means 50% separate, then 12.5%, 12.5%, 12.5%. So 4 parts here. 1/2, another 4 parts. So 5 parts have become of one tattva. Now, if this solid Prithvi has to be constructed, Prakriti, using the power of Mahat Tattva, which is also known as Buddhi, Buddhi or intelligence arranges the tattvas in such a way that 50% of Prithvi and then 12.5% of water, 12.5% of fire, 12.5% of air, and 12.5% of Akasha. They combine, and then another tattva is arrived at, which is called Prithvi. By the way, that Prithvi is also not known to us. Why? Because that Prithvi, along with the combination of other tattvas, gives rise to whatever we are experiencing in this outer world. Because for Prithvi, ask any scientist what he will say. that Prithvi is this solid. But this solid has so many so-called elements, scientific elements. If we talk of the philosophy of Sankhya, there are 5 elements. But if you talk to a chemistry person, he will tell there are 108 elements, 112 elements, right or not? So that is why all the solids, wherever the solidity exists, it's a combination of again the 5 tattvas. But let's say I don't understand it. Then I will tell you one thing. For that matter, anything solid means anything is stably solid. For example, there are 3 basic particles, 3 basic atomic particles which are solid. For example, one of them is they exhibit solidity. One is electron, proton, and neutron. They exhibit solidity, and therefore everything which we can touch, feel, taste, you know that it is made up of electron, protons, and neutrons. So look at this microscopic view. Everything which we are smelling, touching, tasting, seeing, what is it? What it is made up of? Electron, proton, neutron. So that way, these 3 solid particles are creating this illusion of world. This whole world is play of 3 particles, correct? And if we wish to equate it with Sata Rajatam, which has been also called that gunas, Prakriti is consisting of 3 gunas, and gunas being material there, not the characteristic or property. So that way you consider electron, proton, and neutron, these are the 3 materials, which create this illusion or this cosmic fabric, which we call the universe, and also this physical microcosm, which we call body. This is journey of solids only, but we can't say that the electron, protons, and neutrons consist, they can create mind. Of course, they cannot create mind. Mind is a subtle thing. I'm just for the sake of understanding, I'm saying that this is the play of 3 everywhere. In physicality, whatever we can perceive through our senses, there is the play of 3. And similarly, all subtle things which are contained within the system and outside, they are also the play of 3. The play of 3, when solidifies, becomes visible, tangible, it can be called electron, proton, and neutron. But before that, if you say, it's 3 gunas, moving from gross to subtle. So this way, different tonalities or subtleties of these tattvas or the gunas, rather, they create our antakarana, which is inner instrument, which consists of jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, and also mana, which is mind, buddhi, mana, ahankar, and buddhi. Even intellect is created this way. So in this philosophy, what are we trying? We are trying to take the help of the highest possible faculty with us, which is called intellect, which is also referred to as Mahat Tattva. This is the biggest, highest, greatest of tattvas, is called Mahat Tattva. Buddhi is called Mahat Tattva. So everything which we see in this world is created out of this buddhi, which you can say intelligence. So intelligence is playing it on this canvas, arranging the 3 gunas or 3 materials in such a way that this multiplicity of materials and body is created. But as per this philosophy, Purusha is also multiple. Millions and billions of Purushas exist. Okay? So you are one Purusha, another person is another Purusha. That means another consciousness, packet of consciousness, another soul, if you want to say that way. Every living entity has a soul, even if it is a bacteria. Understand? Even if it is a bacteria, even if it is a virus. If it is showing chetana, it is showing activity, it is showing some sort of intelligence, it means it has consciousness in it, which means it has Purusha in it, which means it has soul in it. So bacteria also have soul, viruses also have soul, trees also have soul. Everything which is showing these conscious signals they are showing, they are conscious because of this packet of consciousness which is known as Purusha. So Purusha resides in multiple puras, means multiple cities. So when this consciousness inhabits animal body, it is bound by the intellect and the infrastructure it gets there. Purusha is also kind of a replica of Ishvara. Its only way to exist in this world is to desire and to experience. That's it. There are other things, but for the beginner, we can say the role of Purusha is desiring and experience. So whatever you have, whatever is in apparatus you are in, whatever kind of body you are in, based on that capacity, that capability, you desire and you experience. Now, as per this philosophy, apart from the human body, where the intellect is at the highest or the most sophisticated, it is at a pedestal rather, only this yoni or this body in which you have possibility of liberating yourself. That means you can't get liberation when you are a buffalo, when you are a goat, or when you are amoeba. Amoebas will not get liberation. And only that journey from monocellular organism to this place, which we call human, the Mahatattva, the intelligence evolves so much so that you can start putting right kind of questions. Discrimination develops. So, if you ask what is the tool of yoga, then tool of yoga is intellect. Your intelligence. How intelligent you behave and what way you interact with this world, that will decide whether you are a right candidate for liberation or not. Right? And then we have mind, we have our ego, all those things are there. But on the top, on the pedestal, stands intellect. So yoga will teach us to live life intelligently. In a nutshell, or ordinary. Because you people will just study it and only try to take that much from it. How will it help me? When you say, how will it help me? It definitely means you're still engaged in the world. You want some effect of this learning to impact your worldly experience. Whereas yoga says, you have to become completely detached from the worldly experience, which is called vairagya, dispassion. Which means a state of desirelessness. In that state, only samadhi happens. And this ignorance has to be checked. How will you check this ignorance? And what is ignorance? That we will cover later. However, for this, to arrive at this, this sutra, we have gone through so many sutras, and all of that cannot be covered. Yet, you should understand that yoga means living a life of dispassion, vairagya, having least interest in the world for engagement and interaction, and only one purpose should always be in your head, or probably in your intelligence, should be fixated on one thing only, that I want to know the truth. Who am I? What is the mystery? Who is the creator? I want to witness, I want to see, I want to come in front of that creator, the Lord who has created this world. So a yogi is interested only in knowing who he is or she is, and then who is the creator. So the goal of yoga is to know yourself as consciousness, not as what we understand of ourselves today. You may define yourself by your name, your gender, your creed, your religion, your faith, your relationships, all that. No. How do you know who you are? And you are consciousness. And it is no different than any other philosophy, because the Tantra tradition which we belong to, there also it is said, Atma or self is Chaitanya. Shiva Sutra 1.1. Chaitanyam, Atma. You are consciousness. You must recognize. You're not your mind. Please understand. You're not your intellect. You're not your ego. Forget about body. Forget about relationship. Forget about your attributes of and whatever you have earned in this world. No, nothing. You're not your possessions. You're not your name. You're not your fame. Even your intellect is not you, because intellect is also a material organizing material. This material is called Mahatat. So even discarding Sattva, Raj, Tam, that means going beyond the material, which means Padartha, which means Asat, because Asat is that which changes, Sat is that which does not change. So what does not change? That is you. So in many ways, this has been dealt with in different philosophies. Yoga particularly believes in distinguishing between Jad and Chetan. That means inert and conscious. What is conscious and what is inert? We have to arrive at that. And not only that, we must also be capable of staying in that experience. That is the goal of yoga. Yoga proposes that this possibility is materialized only through the process of samadhi. So if you ask Patanjali what is yoga, it is not a union of soul with the Ishvara. For God's sake, never understand that. Because in the yoga philosophy, Jiva and Ishvara can never become one. They remain separated forever. Jiva is Jiva, Ishvara is Ishvara. And what is liberation then? What is the liberation for it? The liberation in this case is, in this philosophy, has been taken as freedom from the world and being in direct experience of Ishvara. That's it. That means you'll never get back to this body and this world the way you're experiencing it now. And they treat this world as something which is full of suffering. Finally, it is suffering. Begins with suffering, ends with suffering, and interpolated with suffering. Only moments of joys. Only suffering. This is the kingdom of suffering. And therefore, if you have realized that the world is suffering, then yoga is for you. Is it a suffering for all of you? Then yoga is for you. Have you really seen the suffering? Have you really understood that this being in this body, being in this world is a suffering? Do you have that kind of understanding about it? And that understanding has to be formed. You can't say, I understand it whenever I'm unhappy. But whenever I'm happy, I don't see that the world is not worth living. World not that place where I would like to spend some more time. So our opinion about the world, rather our real experience of the world, should lead to this real undercurrent that this world is actually suffering in the disguise of all the pleasures which are there. Correct? Once you have understood that, the philosophy works. Then the philosophy works. Any philosophy for that matter. Because in every philosophy, vairagya has also been, when you arrive at some place, finally it is said, vairagya will help you. Yoga begins from there. Actually, it is said that in this Yoga Sutra, it is said that to control the vrittis of mind, that means whatever thoughts, whatever impressions, whatever ripples, because these ripples in your mind, the desires in your mind, these whims and fancies of your mind, all this fear, jealousy, ego, pride, like, dislike, and all that, these are kind of turbulences which are there in your mind, in your chittam. With that, you can't know yourself. Your own presence will be sullied by it, rather covered by it. It will not be revealed. To reveal your own true presence, you have to first take control and put this to a halt in order to know who you really are. Despite this mind being there, but now for the moment when you are in samadhi, you still this mind. In that stilled mind is called chitta vritti nirodha. The vrittis have been taken control of. They are under check. As if a teacher has entered the class and class has gone silent. Pin drop silence. This much if you arrive at, yoga is for you. It is samadhi has become rather your own experience. Understand? And then comes the methods. The first and the foremost method which has been given here, it has been said that you take charge of your mind and its vrittis by way of practice and dispassion. Abhyasa vairagya abhyam tannirodha. The vrittis of mind are controlled by abhyasa and vairagya. We have spoken so much about it. In more than 5 to 7 lectures we have talked about it. In this highest upaya of yoga. What is this highest upaya or highest means or highest method? Abhyasa vairagya. These are the only two things. You have, and then further it has also been told that your vairagya has to be high. It has to be intense. With that kind of vairagya, little abhyasa will also lead you to success. Understand? So philosophies are not to be learned, philosophies are to be experienced, because philosophies come under the vidya which is known as aparavidya. Okay? Whatever philosophies you read, whatever Vedas, the scriptures you read, and by just reading, if you think you know, that's the biggest trouble, that's the biggest problem, that's the biggest mistake any learner can do. I know. If you say you know, literally you don't know anything. Right? The moment you are able to say, no, I know. Ishvara, do you know Ishvara? And they say, I know. And I can tell you. For that matter, if you can tell right now, I know what anger is, partially it can be accepted. But I can ask you the same question and say, do you understand what unconditional love is? And I say, we know, I know. No, you don't know. You don't know what real compassion is, what forgiveness is. You don't know. Have we really forgiven everyone so far? No. There's still little itch, little pain. Meetha dard hota hai. And if you are forgiven, can it come? No. So that, do you know forgiveness? No. So this way, if you say no about the normal routine things in life, you know that you are not speaking the truth. Forget about all other things. And in this system, we have to know not only our body or tattvas, we have to know the tanmatras, we have to know our karmendriyas, we have to know our jnanendriyas, we have to know our mind, we have to know our own ego, and we have to know our own intellect, and we have to know prakriti. Understand how much knowing is involved? Knowing here does not mean reading. Knowing here does not mean understanding the technical terms and the philosophy, the sequence. No. It means experiencing it. It means living it. It means being in it. Being in that experience. Do you know your mind? No, I know. No, you don't know your mind. You only know the thoughts in your mind. Yogi knows the mind. Understand? Mind is not its thoughts. You are mistaken if you think that you know your mind. Do you know your ego? No, you don't. Your ego is your self-created image, your self-definitions combined together. You call it, I know my ego. No, that is not your ego. Do you know your intellect? You say, how would I know my intellect? Through intellect, I know everything. You see? But yogi know. Yogis know this. So it's a real difficult path. But it sounds very simple because very straightforward. You find so many yoga teachers telling you that you can be liberated, you can be, given the experience of samadhi. Difficult. Very, very difficult. And as I said in the beginning, as the scriptures also tell us, it's not the subject matter of one lifetime. It's not a journey of one life. Yoga is very cruel. It states it that way. Others can give you hope. ठीक है, हरे रामा कृष्णा भजो अभी मुक्ति हो जाएगी. Others can give you hope, but yoga is like it comes bang on our head. No, it's not a possibility for you in this lifetime. Mind your business, do your work, whatever has been told, follow it, and give your 100%, rather 200%. And then probably it may happen in this lifetime also. They don't guarantee. And if you have started doing it right now, right here, you have started following the instructions, you have really become dispassionate and all that, yogis will say, it is not your one lifetime's effort. By the way, Baba, you have been doing it. That is why it has become possible for you to do it now. So the theory is correct in any case. If you achieve it this lifetime, if you achieve all these in this lifetime itself, you have already been doing it. Because it's not possible for you to undo all your animalistic instincts and all that comparison and desire, lust, vasanas, and sanskaras to put it under check. Simple things we don't have under our control. You may have decided that this thing, if this situation, if occurs in my life, happens in my life, I'll not get angry. I'll not get angry, right? How many times you decided like that? And how many times you failed? Think about it. It's a very gross thing. Very gross. You know that you don't have to just, but forget about the subtle control of your inner environment, maintenance of the peace inside. You are not able to control your expression, this gross body, your tongue, like vomit. Angry situations make you like, must say, and you say, and you yell. Does it happen? Yes. So yogis don't believe in this, that you have taken control of your outer expression. No, they are talking of what is happening in your mind. Is there any anger still playing in your inner antahkarana? So you say, if it is playing, you have failed. Even if you have become Mauni Baba, it's failed. This passion does not mean that I have left my business and I'm that monk who has sold his Ferrari, whatever, and settled somewhere in a cave. But I continue to think about it. No. So that way, yoga is a very difficult path, to be honest. Very, very difficult. And if it is taken in its pristine spirit in which it has been written, expressed, and documented, all of us, and I include myself, all of us are not a candidate for yoga. Let's be clear. But visit, not the candidate for yoga means, that means when I say not a candidate for yoga, don't take it that it is not for us. Not a candidate of yoga, to follow it in its true spirit and follow the complete discipline and expect that the result, so-called self-realization, can be attained following this philosophy. Not possible. In this lifetime itself, it's very difficult, very, very difficult. 1% in a million is also an exorbitant guess, rather, wild guess. It's a very, very unrealistic number. If I say 1 in a million, that also not possible. Even in 1 million, 1% cannot attain sampragyat samadhi. Forget about it. Asampragyat, which is the higher samadhi. The way yoga defines it. Let me be clear here. As far as other philosophies are concerned, for example, Tantra will give you more and more windows to experience your true being. And that is perfectly correct, perfectly true, that you do experience your own true self, your own consciousness as Chaitanyam in a very, very easy way. There is no reward. There is no early reward in yoga. No early rewards. It's like giving you an assignment for 10 consistent years, and at the end of it, I will give you some reward. Tantra believes in a different kind of approach. It professes and actually teaches you different kind of approach, where you are rewarded continually you are rewarded. And that gives you hope. So anyways, we are not comparing the philosophies and the approaches, but to be rooted in the spirit of yoga, we must understand this in the first place, that yoga is not an easy discipline. And that is why it has been called a discipline. Atha yoga anusasanam, Sutra 1. It's the highest discipline one can have in life. Because this is the discipline of inner instruments. This is the discipline of your mind, intellect, and ego. This is the discipline of your karmendriyas and jnanendriyas, not these physical organs. And therefore, it's a real difficult thing for us. But is it worth? By all means. We must try. Howsoever hard it is, howsoever difficult it is, we must try our bit. We must give it our 100%. Whatever is in our possibility, whatever is in our approach, we must do. And let me tell you, the more you work here, the more it helps in your real path, which is Tantra. Tantra has no aversion for yoga, by the way. You take all the benefits from here, you utilize it there. Rather, it is complementary. So that way, we must try to assimilate and do every possible thing which is suggested here. And which means what? We should do abhyasa, and we should also be rooted in vairagya. Vairagya will help you in tantric practices also. In every system, ultimate control is on your chittam, on your mind, on your vasanas, on your vrittis. And yoga will also teach you that. Let us move to the sutra. Sutra 29 says, it is talking about the effect of pranava. Pranava means, which is omkara, roughly taken as omkara, effect of pranava in the process of centering, process of taking charge of your mind, in the process of removing the negative currents and making them still at the end, stilling your mind. And that is described in the last few sutras, where it is says, tasya vachakaha pranavaha, and then it is said, tad japa tadartha bhavanam, and then the impact of it. The impact is the impact of omkara chanting. Do you know omkara? What is omkara? Pranava. Probably everyone knows. This is omkara. Om. The chanting is to be done. Who says? Sage Patanjali is saying. And how it is to be done, that also is taught. And by the way, Om, what is it, this Om? What is this? What is this Omkara? What is this Pranava? Whose name is this? Yoga knows only Ishvara. And Omkara is his name. The previous sutra has said, tad japa tadartha bhavana. You should chant the Omkara, Pranava, the name of Ishvara, with the bhavana, with the feeling, with the inner feeling of its qualities. Is it not? Because we do bhavana of only quality. There is no other bhavana. Bhavana means imbibing the qualities or trying to get close to those kind of qualities, creating similar kind of experience or following the same currents which that particular entity or particular experience represents. For example, if I say, try to invoke the so-called valor and bravery in your being by listening to a very, very patriotic song. What does it mean? What does it mean? Actually, it would mean that you allow your internal environment to create similar currents which are of bravery, which are of valor, which are of patriotism. Yes or no? That is what bhavana is. Patanjali says that you must do Ishwar Pranidhan in order to strengthen, augment your own practice of Abhyasa Vairagya. What do you need to do? You need to do Ishwar Pranidhan. Then the student will ask, who is Ishvara? So far, Ishvara was not there in the philosophy. Where from this Ishvara has popped up? The question is answered. Ishvara, about Ishvara, this definition is given. Klesha karma vipaka ashayaiha aparamrishta purusha vishesh Ishvara. Right? This is what it is. Ishvara is that Purusha or that Chaitanya or Chaitanyam which is aparamrishta, untouched by what? Klesh, karma. That means no karma binds him, no karma touches him. Vipaka, this means karma you do, and vipaka means the fruit of it. He is not touched by the karma, he is not touched by the fruit of it. So for him, there is no karma, there is no fruit of karma. And then Ashai, but he is the giver of the fruits of all the karmas, is it not? In the position of Ishvara, is he not responsible to allocate everyone the fruit of their own karmas? Whatever karma is happening in his prakasha, he is responsible to give the fruit of every karma. And for that, he must know all the karma of every karma which is happening. And if you observe any karma or kriya, do you remain unaffected? Suppose a murder happens in front of you. Are you affected? Yeah, I do. Ishvara does not get affected. If you do something very good, very charitable, very understandable, very compassionate thing, does Ishvara get affected? No, not at all. Aparamrishta. And when you get the fruit of it, when you suffer on account of your own karma, does Ishvara get affected? No. See, I'm talking of the Ishvara of yoga. Because when we'll come to Tantra, we say Sharanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parayane. We'll talk about that. That mother is so much loving, compassionate, always ready to help and all that. No. If we are talking of yoga, we must follow the yogic principles, and the principles will help us progress faster on the path of yoga. So from now onwards, never think that Ishvara is kind. No, Ishvara is not kind. Because your definition of kindness is that I do a murder, come back and say sorry, and I be forgiven. No, sorry. Ishvara is not that. Ishvara cannot forgive. Therefore, you'll say he's not forgiving, he's not kind. No, he's kind. He's really kind. Because for all the good deeds you do, the fruits of it are not in your control. He gives it. And therefore, he is kind. Because he has the capacity to give all the fruits to you. He is kind enough to give all the fruits to you. By that logic or by that experience, you can call Ishvara is kind. But don't impose your definition of kindness on Ishvara. He is aparamrishta. The Ishvara of yoga is not kind. The Ishvara of yoga is just. Understand? Just. You, whatever you do, you will, whatever you sow, you reap. That is it. Don't expect forgiveness from Ishvara. And that is the reason yoga is saying that whatever we have been doing since thousands and thousands of lifetimes, everything is with us. We have to deal with it. And probably it is not possible for us to actually dissipate all our fruits of actions, and therefore all we can do is just check and control the vrittis of this mind and sanskara, put it on hold. And putting it on hold, avidya, ignorance, your tendencies, your lust, your desire, your vasanas, your ichhas, you put it on check, you're eligible for mukti. That's it. You see? Understand? In philosophy of yoga, mukti does not mean that you have dissipated all your karma. Let it be clear. Let us understand it very clear. You have not been able to dissipate, because no one in millions of lifetimes can become possible for him to dissipate all his actions, because he will earn something new. He will again earn something new. New kleshas will come. New karmas will come. And karmas, when done, they are always in the category of good and bad. So what do you do? How do you come out of this cycle? Is it cycle of birth and death? Cycle of karma, and its fruit continues. So when you become liberated as per philosophy of yoga now, let's say suppose in this lifetime itself you got liberation, you remain liberated for this whole kalpa. Billions and trillions of years, whatever is this kalpa, you remain mukta, liberated. And then everything retracts back to its karana, the seed, the cause. And when again it expands, these jivas again come to exist. And then they again are deluded by ignorance. And then they again follow and receive the fruits of their previous karma, previous kalpa. So nobody is ever free permanently there in the philosophy of yoga. But you'll say, if there is no freedom, there is no absolute freedom, what is the need to do yoga? I want something to be permanent, right? You may say, it doesn't entice me, it doesn't attract me, it doesn't fascinate me, the idea itself that I'll not be free forever. Ask yourself, would you ever want to be free forever? Ask yourself. For the sake of good, you'll say, okay, no problems, but it's worth to be here. Yes or no? Great yogis, masters, so-called Buddhas, when they were departing, they said, no, I'll come back. Krishna says, yada yada dharmasya glanirvasya, he's leaving some desires unfulfilled, some agenda here. Yada yada dharmasya tada atmanam sajamyam, I'll come. This is called freedom. This is mukti. You understand? So yogi attains this kind of liberation, and anywhere, anytime, he can, if he chooses to, he can appear. He can appear in the body. So this is the capacity. So mukti means this. Mukti does not mean getting free of the birth and life, death and birth and whatever you say, forever. No, there is nothing forever here. For the kalpa you are free. For next kalpa, again the business as usual. You are born deluded by Maya. You have to recognize that you are in the pain. This life is a suffering. Again, get back to the yoga and liberate fast. Faster the better. Okay. Still you want to practice yoga? Up to you. Well, let me clarify that what is it that it is going to offer. I can tell you, you will practice yoga even if yoga claims and gives you the freedom for this lifetime, forget about this kalpa. If it offers you the peace for the lifetime, you will still practice it. It's a very fascinating bargain. Tell me, will you or not? Yes. So why to get involved in the philosophical questions and get to say, I'm very disheartened with that. You see, there is no permanent mukti in the path of yoga. Come on. Do you know all your previous lives? No. Do you know you suffered? No. Have you seen your upcoming lives? No. Do you have any experience of sufferings which are you're going to beget there? No. Do you want freedom from that future suffering? Or you want freedom from your past suffering? Or you want freedom from your current suffering? That's the question. And I'm sure you'll agree that I want freedom from the current suffering. I don't care, I don't bother what was past, I don't bother what is in future, but I must be free now. Give me some hope, give me some way. Yoga says, yes, there is way. Abhyas vairagya abhyam tad nirodha. Become rooted in abhyasa practice and try to attain dispassion, the attitude of dispassion in this world. And again, he says that this can be augmented further by Ishwar Pranidhan. Then question comes, who is Ishvara? Now Ishvara is defined. Klesha karma vipakashaya aparamrishta purusha vishesh Ishvara. No fruits, no karma, no kleshas, and no ashaya. Ashaya means the sanskaras. You may say, Ishvara is in the habit of giving fruits, and there must be a lot of sanskara about it. Like a donor gets the sanskaras of donation. See, there is good sanskara of giving donation. No sanskaras on Ishvara. All the justice he continues to do, and all the actions and everything he experiences, but aparamrishta, untouched. This is what Ishvara is. So the qualities you understood, first quality is klesha free, karma free, vipaka free, ashaya free. Understand? Okay. Some qualities defined. So you can do bhavana of no klesha. जैसे अरे लाइफ में इतना क्लेश है, यू आर आस्किंग ऑफ नो क्लेश भावना. या ईश्वर प्रणिधान आद्वा. इफ यू आर डूइंग ईश्वर प्रणिधान, it is been instructed tajjapa tadartha bhavana. You must be in the bhavana of the artha of Ishvara, the Ishvara, Purusha Vishesha. And the first attribute of his is klesha free. The moment you say, I am doing Ishvara Bhavana, Ishwar Pranidhan, the first attribute itself is free of klesha. Now do the bhavana of freedom from klesha. At least till the time you are in Ishwar Pranidhan, or in remembrance of Ishvara, or trying to achieve proximity of Ishvara, you are free of klesha. Why? Because japa tadartha bhavana. You are saying Om. Om is the name of Ishvara. Tasya vachakah pranava. The name of Ishvara has also been told later on that his name is Om. So when you call Om, you are calling Ishvara in your life. Acha, when you call somebody idiot, you must be having some image of an idiot in your mind. That appears, yes or no? The blinking idiot, right? You are a very nice person. Nice person. The moment I say nice, you have your own set of attributes to be given to that person. Nice. Nice person means what? If I tell you, and suppose I describe Lala Sampat Rai is a very nice person. Just this statement. Now think about niceness. Whatever nice is in your opinion, you put on him or not. First of all, you have not seen Lala Sampat Rai. So everyone's Lala Sampat Rai is different by the way. Somebody might be visualizing Lala Sampat Rai as a pagdi wala like me. Maybe somebody is visualizing a Mutu Seth, that is Lala Sampat Rai, sitting on Galla, collecting money and all that. Maybe somebody is visualizing Lala Sampat Rai running a dharamshala. Whatever. All of you are having different image of Lala Sampat Rai, but the moment I say nice, you also give some attributes to Lala Sampat Rai. Don't you give? You give, right? He's a very nice man. No? There's someone who is being abused every day by the people around. You say, Lala Sampat Rai must be a person who would not abuse. I mean, this is how we define the so-called goodness in this world. In the relativity, this relativity of the world is there. So who's a good person? Whatever bad I have experienced, the absence of that is good. Or opposite of that is really very good. Patanjali leaves nothing to your imagination. He has not said Ishvara is such and such. He says Ishvara is the one who is free from klesha. Now think of Ishvara. Ishvara is free of karma. He is not touched by karma. Now experience that he is also free from the fruits of it. Now experience that. He is also free from all the sanskaras. Now experience that. Try this Ishwar Pranidhana. Yoga begins. Samadhi begins. Chitta vritti nirodha begins. From klishta vrittis to aklishta vrittis, the journey starts. The transition starts happening. The klishta vrittis represent, klishta vrittis in our being represent that there is a lot of klesha. Klesha, kashta. And kashta means avidya, ignorance. Let me tell you. Klesha is avidya. We become really dejected sometimes in our life. We start questioning Ishvara. Bhagwan, मैंने क्या गलती करी, मुझे क्यों दे दिया? Don't you know Ishvara? Ishvara is, you are advising Ishvara. You are doubting Ishvara. भगवान ने गलती कर दी. He did a mistake. So nice of us. We are so brilliant, so capable that we can question Ishvara also. That is how we question without understanding who the Ishvara is. The first attribute of Ishvara is told as klesha free. Now do the bhavana of klesha free and you are free from kleshas, at least for the time being, till the time you are in the bhavana of Ishvara. Ishwar Pranidhana. Now move to next definition is gurus of guru. He is the guru of all the gurus. And kalena anavachchedat means he is not affected by time, which means there is no sequencing of time in his case. There is nothing called past, present, future in his case. Because he is anavachchedat, unaffected by, unclouded by time. Now do this bhavana. Something beyond time. Immediately yoga begins. Immediately klesha free. Because he is the guru of gurus. That means he is the Adi Guru. The moment we say guru, the moment I said guru, you immediately started having a form. Immediately a form came. Right? But think of a person who is free of all the karmas. Will he be able to be free if he has any form? Think about it. Because Ishvara must be big, very big, is it not? Because when he will walk, of course, so many insects and plants and trees and everything will be destroyed, is it not? Become very big. We are talking of something in form, then we definitely can say if Ishwar के पास रूप है, शरीर है, तो क्या वह काल के परे हो सकता है? प्रश्न है, क्या वो काल के परे हो सकता है? क्योंकि जो भी शरीरधारी होता वो काल के परे नहीं होता. Which means ईश्वर पुरुष विशेष कालेन अनवच्छेदात् पूर्वेशाम गुरोर अपि गुरो, which means he is guru of everyone. This means he is the light of wisdom himself. He is the storehouse of all the vidyas. He is that Ishwar. Now, try to imbibe this bhavana in you, that you are in the company of the guru of all gurus. And then, if you think you can do away with any sort of mischievous thoughts, the next sutra says that guru who knows everything, sarvagya bijam. He knows everything. Now, he knows everything means he also knows whether you are really disciplined or you're just holding yourself for some time. Internally, lot of mischievous thoughts are going on, and just not speaking. He knows it. So what will you do? You'll try to hold your mind. At least mind be hold karo. Just hold your mind so that the thoughts are also not there, so that he doesn't know anything. But he knows even that. You see? Yeah, of course. He knows even that you decided like this. Sarvagya bijam. So nothing is out of his conscious knowledge. today, yesterday, tomorrow, and even beyond time, because he is Kalin Anavachena. So now do the bhavana, tadartha japam, tadartha bhavanam, tad japa, tadartha bhavanam. Do this bhavana. See, I, in these discourses, don't remain true to the scriptures. I always try the practitioners, participants to be more experience oriented. I don't believe in describing scriptures being grammatically correct. It does not matter much. What matters to us, how much experience it has brought to us, what transformation has gone within, how sharp we have become in grasping the reality, how happy we have become after listening to this. What is the element of wisdom which has started operating in our life? How much dispassion we have been able to create? And what is our direct experience of engaging in any sadhana? Discourses are the ways of sadhana. Sadhana, satsang, seva. That is what we say now. Satsang is also part of sadhana. Seva is also part of sadhana. But sadhana is something which is also very essential. Because satsang is done only to augment your sadhana, refine your sadhana, deepen your sadhana. So you must have some sadhana. All right. So in this particular sutra, it is said that if you do this japa, if you do this bhavana along with that japa, it is going to make your consciousness experience itself, and also it will remove all the obstacles, impediments, obstructions. How? Very easy. In the previous sutra, somewhere it was said that vrittya panchatayah klishta klishta. And it was also told by the commentator, rishis themselves, like Maharishi Vedavyas, who has done the commentary on it. He says that our goal is to move from klishta, which means difficult, cumbersome, suffering kind of tendencies and thoughts and internal environment, to move to a congenial, positive, happy environment, inner. Vrittis should become aklishta. They should not be tainted by the kleshas. So are we not gaining access to aklishta vrittis immediately by doing bhavana of Ishvara, who is a klesha free? Achha. When I described Lord Ashoka, the king Ashoka was a very, very charitable man. He was a very religious person. He was following Buddha, and all that I'm describing. You forget the Kalinga immediately. But if I start describing the war of Kalinga, then I say, oh, this man, immediately, right? So the moment we take Ishvara and give this attribute of klesha, free of klesha, we move to that particular experience of klesha free experience, inner environment, which means we have started working on our vrittis from klishta to aklishta, which is also a goal of yoga, which is the prerequisite of yoga. Let me tell you, yogis cannot be those people who are unhappy, suffering, full of complaints, full of pain here, pain there, pain everywhere. No, you can't get self-realization. Sorry, attend to your pains first. So yogis are also not those who have lot of inner things, inner clutter there, are not able to forgive, not able to forget, not able to resolve, not able to do this, and so much of it. You can't be a yogi. Forget about yogi, you can't be a sadhaka. You are a sadhaka as per our scriptures, which is tantric scriptures. We say prayatna sadhaka. Till the time you are making an effort to keep your inner environment free of all the kleshas, you are sadhaka. Beyond that, you are ordinary who is engaged in business as usual. You are not sadhaka. Don't say I am a sadhaka when you are not doing sadhana. Only at the time of sadhana you are sadhaka. Beyond that, you are ordinary pappu. Understand? That is what the philosophy tells us. Tantra tells us. Who is a sadhaka? The one who is making an effort. Right now, if you are making an effort, you are a sadhaka. If you are not, then you are a mummy, daddy, papa, whatever. You're a good businessman. You may be a good neighbor. You may be a good husband, good wife, whatever. You may be an in-law. You may be outlaw. Whatever you are, but you are not a sadhaka. Don't claim to be a sadhaka beyond your efforts. Only in the duration of your sadhaka, but duration of sadhana, when somebody comes and asks you, and start replying, you are no more a sadhaka. So never ever introduce yourself as sadhaka. Now this is another problem. So we may define ourselves that I am a pratham koti sadhaka, titiya koti sadhaka, krama sadhaka and all that. But you are not a sadhaka when you are defining it that way. You are a sadhaka when you are doing efforts. So you are a yogi, you are a practitioner of yoga only till the time you are engaged in some or the other way, connected with yogic practice. Otherwise, you're not. Simple. So I hope with this we can close today's talk. It had been more revision than dwelling into this particular sutra. Maybe next time when we gather, we will try to cover it a little bit more, and then we'll move to next sutra. All right, let's pray and then we'll leave. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shiva.